What's up, Doom Nation? It's Skags here. So Chris and I were invited onto the Wild Side podcast from 990 WBOB Radio in Rhode Island to discuss Trump's impeachment trial and the lifting of COVID lockdowns with the hosts Pal and Firman. We had a great time being on the radio with them. This was actually a first for us, and they're kindly letting us share the segment that we had with them with you all. Definitely go and give their show a listen. It is on www.990wbob.com. It's kind of a mouthful. So without further ado, here's our segment on the Wild Side.
990wbob.com.
And welcome back for more of the Wild Side here on 990wbob.com. He's Fur E-Man. I am the pal, Mike Sandoval behind the glass. Tonight, pushing the buttons and doing our fact-checking. This is the Buttonwoods Brewery 4-pack. Very simple concept. We get a 4-pack of questions for our guests tonight. Buttonwoods Brewery and 990WBOB. They go together like beer and pretzels, baby. Beer and podcasting. What can be better? Check out buttonwoodsbrewery.com. Make a weekend reservation or pick something up. Fast, free, contact-free, Tuesdays through Sundays. Buttonwoodsbrewery.com. I recommend the Kolsch. Nice, easy, crushable, as the kids say, over at buttonwoodsbrewery.com. On the line right now, I believe we have both of the two doomed men, Chris and Mike. Guys, how are you tonight?
Good. How's it going?
Doing good.
We're doing terrific. Where are you guys calling in from tonight?
I'm from New York, Yonkers, New York.
And New Fairfield, Connecticut.
Okay. All right, so pretty close. Which one of you is the liberal? Yeah. Let's get that out of the way.
That'd be me. That'd be Mike.
And you're the one from Fairfield?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Get the eggs ready. We're going to Fairfield. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go. Yep.
All right, guys. So let's start off with 990 WBOB. We've been around for a while. We're staple around in the community, on the line, all that good stuff. You guys are doing your own thing, and I was on the Twitter sphere and came across you, and I saw you burning Sanders asking for followers on YouTube. I thought that was pretty funny. Tell us a little bit about yourself. How does this work? How does the conservative and liberal sit down at a table and do a podcast without killing each other?
So
well, that's just why we started it.
Yeah, we started it really in response to all the divisiveness that's been taking over society lately. And we wanted to show everybody that it's possible for like an average Joe conservative and liberal to just discuss and debate ideas in like a civil, open-minded way, and we could remain friends after, even if we disagree on topics.
Okay, well, let's...
Yeah, and most of the time, it's about finding a new perspective as well. You know, we're trying to give people a different perspective than what the media wants you to see.
I like that. And that's hip to what we're doing here, which is kind of the reason we reached out to you. So, Mike, you're the liberal, correct?
Yes.
All right. So I want to paint the pictures for the listeners here. So tonight, one of the things we didn't get to in our news segment, but we wanted to talk about, we'll talk about with Joe Newby coming up in the next segment, is the impeachment. A lot of our hosts here on this station and, really across the globe, we really feel, I do anyways, that this is a huge, huge waste of time. And it's become more of a vindictive pursuit by the anti-Trumps. And whether it be an anti-Trump Republican or an anti-Trump Trump, in my opinion, there's two major parties, Democrat and Republican, obviously, and then there's the sub-parties, the anti-Trump Dems, regular Dems, anti-Trump Republicans, and Republicans. That being said, I feel like that all this is a vindictive pursuit to make sure that Trump is politically dead and buried and can't rise up and run again, which frankly would be a long shot for him to run again in 4 years anyways, or 2 years. What is your take on the impeachment? Are you for it? Are you with the rest of us that this is a huge waste of time? Let's get on to getting people back to work. Let's get on to getting over COVID.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. Although I consider myself a liberal, I don't have Trump derangement syndrome. So I do think it's a giant waste of time. And you know what, though? We shouldn't be surprised because that's all Congress seems to do is just waste our time. We're in the midst of a pandemic. Americans face record unemployment numbers. We have the threat of the virus. And I feel like your average American, they don't care about the political theatrics of an impeachment trial. or about gender pronouns being removed. And those seems to be the first agenda items on Pelosi and the new session of Congress's to-do list.
That's you guys
It's
bring up a
gross,
really
is
good
what it
point.
is.
It's gross. It's
Yeah.
actually, I mean,
Yeah.
there goes,
You guys didn't expect that answer.
No, it was refreshing.
No,
was
right.
great.
It's a good answer. It's good to hear that
Yeah.
that two people with different views can actually sit down at a table and have a conversation and be adults about it, because the
Exactly.
Trump derangement syndrome has been insane, and in my day job, like, we can't even talk about Trump, and if Trump is even mentioned, they're like, oh, he all these nasty things come out about him and his supporters. So it's nice to hear that people can actually sit down and have an adult conversation about these things.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's
you know,
definitely the idea.
like as a liberal, I want Americans. I feel like Americans, liberals, should want direct cash relief, an end to the lockdowns, and something along the lines of like a single-payer healthcare system. But they're not even getting to have those debates or those discussions because they're worried about this theatrical stuff and virtue signaling, woke things that don't really do anything for the average American.
Exactly. Just to get some insight here, Mike, what's your view on the whole gender pronoun thing in the bathroom, the transgender bathroom issue?
Yeah, I think it's just woke virtue signaling. It really is just a way to make people feel better about themselves, to make like elite liberal people feel better about themselves, and then to not actually do anything concrete to help people. I saw a great tweet yesterday, actually, and somebody tweeted on that putting a black woman on money to distract from the fact that you aren't giving black people money is peak Democratic Party neoliberal bullcrap. And I feel like that's exactly what they're doing. They just give you these little things here to make people feel better, but they don't actually do anything concrete to help the American people.
Yeah, here's a cookie. Shut up. Basically, is what they're
Yes.
doing. We're talking with Chris and Mike from Two Doomed Men in our Buttonwoods Brewery 4-pack. He's Fur E-Man. I am the Pal. Final question here tonight, Chris. I'm going to shoot one at you. We've been picking at Mike. COVID-19 restrictions across the country miraculously. What was it? Hours after Biden was sworn in, Fauci says, things are going to get better. Masks should be gone by
I
what?
think Lightfoot was in Chicago was asking about or telling that they need to be reopened. I think even before he got inaugurated.
Close to home, Chuck E. Cheese Baker
Yep.
up there in Massachusetts decided that, COVID's good now after dark. Apparently, it only comes out after 1 in the morning now, so we can open up those restaurants late again and loosen up some of those restrictions. And in 2 weeks, we may even be able to go over 25%. Woohoo! In Massachusetts. So major improvements all of the sudden with Joey and Kamala coming into town. So what is your take on all this?
Yeah, I've always had my suspicions about the information we were getting about COVID. I always believed there was a virus, and I believe people were, dying from this virus. But I never trusted any of the numbers we were getting. Throughout this entire thing was all very shady. And now, the timing couldn't be any more perfect. Biden's in office, and now you have, in Chicago, you have California, and you even have Cuomo here in New York talking about, things need to open, our businesses are going to die. 2 months ago, it was too dangerous to go vote at a polling station in
Right.
person. But now that your guy's in office, we could start opening things up. I think it's starting to look more and more like the COVID virus itself in the media and the way things were locked down was more of like a political biological weapon, just used to hurt the Trump economy, used to hurt Trump's image, and used to keep us and the country basically imprisoned for an entire year.
And that's the whole problem, that we're playing pee in the sandbox and see who takes up the most room. And it's not. You ever play that game?
Yeah.
It's not. It's not a pretty picture, and we're the ones suffering. All right, guys, we got about a minute left before we go to break. I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to tell the listeners out there where they can find your stuff, where they can watch you, listen to you, and all that good stuff.
Go ahead, Chris. Go for it.
All right. So, I mean, this is usually the spiel that we have at the end of it. You can find us everywhere Trump is banned. So Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube is @2DoomMen. IG and Gab is @2DoomMen_podcast. And of course, you could listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, and we just joined Rumble recently. So make sure if you guys want to hear us to like, share, and subscribe. That subscribe button is super important.
Guys, I wish we had more time with you. We definitely need to have you back on because it's been a lot of fun, and we barely scratched the surface of stuff to talk about.
We would love to be back on. We appreciate you guys reaching out to us, and we appreciate that you get what we're trying to do here.
Guys, keep up the good work. We will definitely have you back on. We'll talk again soon.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.
You too. This is The Wild Side.